turning out to be a really great day today. Nice and beautiful. And actually the flooding wasn't as bad today as it was yesterday. We gotta land.
Amazing rich, over a meter deep soil is thanks to millennia of flooding, which deposits a little bit of silt and builds up this amazing soil. That's the good side. The bad side is you have floods, and they can do some damage. Pretty much all the vegetables we've looked at are fine. They've kind of just been sitting there since the flood last week. They're kind of, there's a little bit of a shock to be underwater for 24 hours, but they'll be fine. Right before the flood, we planted 30 beds of lettuce, spinach, all sorts of stuff, and I haven't seen any germination of any of those seeds yet. So I'm worried about, I don't think those 30 beds are going to make it, but these are kind of the prices you pay for being in a river delta.
That's Henry right there. So Henry's out there doing some tractor work right now, and him and I just poked around in the field a little bit to check out how everything's turning out with flood. So all the seeds are just beginning to germinate, and a lot of the plants are just kind of coming out of their shock, their state of mind. They're flooded over, stripped of all their oxygen for a few days, and now the good sunshine is coming out, and so they're all starting to kind of poke back through and gain their life back. Alright, now we're back in the bare root house and with the eggplants I showed you last week. These plants are getting really big now, and so here's our eggplants right down here. Right there. And then these are radishes. Alright, these are more eggplants, and these are your arugula plants. And finally on this side over here, these are your eggplants again, and this is like a choy right here. Then here are the pepper plants right here, and we're doing the exact same thing. These are going to take a long time to grow and to get big, so we're utilizing all of this space. Every square inch of real estate, I like to call it real estate, every square inch of real estate has to be used at all times to maximize potential of the farm. Alright, this is the seed house where we start all of our seeds. As you can see, we have all of our plants back over here. And right now is the time to transplant all of your vegetables out into the field. And so all of these plants are going to start going out the door and down into the field, and then it's going to start to look like this. So as the vegetables start leaving the greenhouse, we're going to start making the transformation and changing this greenhouse into the pepper and ginger house. So down here we have all of our pepper plants. So the greenhouses get really, really hot. So currently this thermometer says that this greenhouse is around 102 degrees, while my cell phone tells me that the greenhouse, that outside of the greenhouse is 60 degrees. This is a huge fluctuation between temperatures, and even like the rays coming through really like pulse your skin. So here's our rice. We planted this last Saturday. Look, it's looking really good. It's got a great stand to it. So this was the lettuce house that we transplanted all of our lettuce in here before, and then we put flags down in 4 rows all the way down to the end, and that's where we did not plant lettuce, and so we could dig out a little hole and put our eggplants in here. So now that our eggplants, once they get transplanted, they go through like a subtle transplant shock, then they begin to grow, and they grow really slowly, so there's a lot of wasted space here, so we interplanted lettuce in between. The lettuce is huge right now. It's starting to take over the eggplants and start to shade them out. So Henry went through here earlier this morning and he picked out the biggest heads of lettuce for the farmer's market, but there is a lot here. There's probably like maybe 1,000 heads just in this greenhouse alone. One of the hardest things about making these movies is that my eyes can see way better than all of my cameras combined. So like right now, all you can see out here is green upon green upon green. It's just a sea of different colors of greens. But what I can see is all these different kinds of vegetables. And you see like dark green, those carrots, but you can't really see the details in the camera. That's one of the hardest parts about making these videos. In this greenhouse here, there is so much going on. The diversity is really high. So over here, dark colored leaf down here, this is kumatsuna. So you have 1 row of kumatsuna. You have 3 rows of red beets, 3 rows of carrots, 3 rows of golden beets, 3 more rows of carrots, and then you have 1 row of chioggia beets, followed by 1 row of bok choy with 2 varieties, and then on the outside of that is radishes, and then you have zucchinis on the end down there, and zucchinis are on the end over here as well. Oh, and there's also some arugula on this edge here. We cut it down. We were harvesting earlier today, so we cut down the arugula. These are down here is lettuce. You have lettuce all down the sides of the greenhouse. This end and that end way down there is all lettuce as well. So I mean, the diversity on this farm is really high. We do like 700 varieties of vegetables, not types, but varieties. Types of vegetables are about 100. So 100 types of vegetables, 700 plus varieties of vegetables. So diversity is the key to success. You know that phrase, not putting all your eggs in one basket? Because if you drop the basket, then you break all the eggs. So by diversifying, you're sure to have a successful year. So while Henry grows 700 plus varieties of vegetables, Mother Nature is growing about over 1,000, and it's really, really amazing, which I think it is. I have taken a picture of every single flower between March 1st and April 30th, and it's like really amazing. There's like over 40 flowers that I've taken a picture of. I'll show all those pictures at the end of this video. So not only are we highly diversified, but we don't plant solid blocks of any one crop. So we'll plant like 2 rows of something or 3 rows of something, and then we'll change it. 3 rows of something else, then 3 rows of something else. That way it's like if you have specific bugs that come by and they eat this one crop, well, they're not going to eat all of the 10 acres. They're only going to eat maybe a little bit from these 2 rows, and then they're going to have to leave this plant and go all the way over to the next plant. Oh, that's Henry. I gotta get going. So let me tell you fast. To go all the way to the next plant, and then by that time he might get eaten or killed, or he might die off. And so that's a way of working with the bug issues.